All right, guys, super excited to share today's interview with you. We've got Christina Stratton, spa owner, former chief experience officer of one of the largest hospitality management companies in the world, and former pop star. She's an entrepreneur, but she's also had a bird's eye view of what's working and what's not working across hundreds of different spas. I hope you guys enjoy. I've been so excited for this conversation because you have such a unique position in the industry. You have the perspective of the five-star hotel, but then you also have this establishment, Spa Theology, which is the perfect execution of a downtown day spa.
That means a lot to me. I moved to Asheville 20 years ago, left Los Angeles, hung up my pop star days, which not a lot of people in our industry know that I actually was the lead singer of a 5-girl pop group, which sounds cheesy, and it was. We opened for NSYNC and Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys and LFO and all those very bubblegum pop bands back in 2000.
How do you go from pop in songwriting to spa?
In the pop group, I got to experience a massage for the first time. So I had to fight the label because the label would give the boy bands money to go to strip clubs. So I fought the label and said, well, we're 5 women. We don't need to do that. We're good, but we'd like to go to a spa. They were like, okay. They agreed. So we went to a 4 Seasons for the first time in my life. I think I was 26 and it changed my life. I think I even got choked up getting a massage. I had never had that kind of healthy touch like that. It was different. It just felt so healing. It was wonderful. And from that moment, I knew I wanted to own a spa. I needed to make people feel like a celebrity every day.
So why did you choose Asheville?
We were looking for a place that we could raise our daughter. My husband, he was in the film industry doing lighting for film and television. And he was like, I'm kind of burnt out. And I'm like, I don't want to be a songwriter anymore. I have my daughter. And at 30 years old, when we had her, I was basically too old. I had already aged out of Hollywood. So my pop days were over. We looked at Austin, Texas. We looked at Bend, Oregon, and we looked at Asheville. And when we drove this, we were like, this is it. There was something about the Blue Ridge Parkway, the greenery. And when I found this space in downtown, it was such a cool 1900s building. My husband looked at it. He was like, we could do something with this because I knew he had such an incredible design on it. And I knew I could make people feel amazing. I dreamt the name Spa Theology. And theology is the study of God and spirit and wind. And for me, it was really spa, sonus paroquium, which is healing through water. We just combined them together. And I was like, Spa Theology. I just wanted to blend the 2 worlds. And then Alana and I partnered up. And the rest is kind of history to a degree.
Like, it feels like you guys had just this really amazing dream team between your husband, whose job was architecting an atmosphere.
Yeah.
In songwriting, you're taking people on a journey and you're architecting this path and this emotional experience. And then on Alana's side with the operations.
Yeah. It was a trifecta. It was amazing. My husband's skill is incredible. His lighting, he just knows how to make it really feel lived in and intimate and optimize space. And Alana's operational, she's brilliant. Over time, we learned how to dance together. That's the best way to describe it. And so when we were coming up through, we had staff learning at my house. We were doing hospitality trials for 2 weeks before we opened this location. And then within 6 months, we were opening up another location. And then 6 months after that, we got our first gig, the Biltmore Estate. We got the Inn on Biltmore Estate trusting us to put one key. They gave us 1 key. It was a room that they were like, yeah, it doesn't get booked as much. We're like, let us do it. My husband worked for free. We re-renovated this 1 room and we made it work. And it was our first hotel gig. And I remember we were so excited. I remember us going, oh my gosh, like we've done it. Although I didn't have a paycheck for 4 years, but
you knew it was coming.
It was coming. I remember we got that 1 check and we took a picture of it because it was like, we made it. It was like $1,000. It was like, yes, it's no longer just a dream. It was a win.
So you started, you've opened up Biltmore. Where does it go?
So we got that one. And that was like, we can do this. We can do anything. When we decided to grow, opportunities would come or we would seek them and we would get them. And it started to become the high of getting in there, pitching ourselves, and it was boutique because we knew we can compete with big dogs. So we couldn't have the 15,000 square foot spas. No one looked at us in that direction until we started getting the 5 treatment room spa. So when I had the opportunity to reach out to Martha Kessler and Richard Kessler. They were opening a hotel here in Asheville. And we just cold called from the yellow pages, Martha Kessler of the Kessler Collection. And I said, you're putting a hotel right in front of the Biltmore Estate. We run the boutique Inn on Biltmore Estate spa. It was called Petite Spa Biltmore because it was one treatment room.
Oh, awesome.
And they said, well, we may have a room that we could turn into a spa. And we were like, well, let us see if we can do this for you. And they were like, okay, great. Well, let's talk some more. And the next thing you know, we booked a flight. Didn't tell them. We didn't know we could get a meeting with them. We booked a flight, stayed at my mom's house in Orlando with my stepdad, and called up Martha, and we got a meeting with them. And it was the scariest meeting we've ever had because they were so intense. They're this autograph collection hotel company, and here we were. We have the Biltmore Estate, and I got a day spa, and we have another spa salon, and please trust us. And I'll never forget, they asked us, they said flat out, so why would we hire you when you are managing our competitor, the Biltmore Estate? And we said, well, why wouldn't you hire us? We know everything they're doing. Called a non-compete, and all we have to do is make sure we're different. So we were able to gain their trust because we showcased to them, we know what we're doing over here. Let us make you something very special. And we did that. Every spa was different. Totally. We're like McDonald's and Wendy's, just different sides of the streets. Point is that you can have something fantastic at one space, but if you're creative enough and you can execute it operationally, can you craft something special every single time? And I believe, yes, you can.
So I'm very interested to get your take. You have hydrofacial. You
Yes.
have all of these machines, and at one time they were so rare and sexy and exciting that was a driver of business.
Totally.
But now it looks like you have a $30,000 commodity.
Yeah. You have a Mercedes-ish
Yeah.
sitting in a room.
I'm curious, just with your take on differentiation, how does a spa that is building its brand off another brand that anybody can have, how do they set themselves apart?
It's a challenge because there's no way to protect it. I think it's about your menu, but at the end of the day, the hydrofacial doesn't do anything unless that therapist is fantastic. It's how is the environment of the space? What is the mix you're using? Look, people have a choice where they can spend their money, and they're having to choose very, very strategically. And if you're fortunate and blessed enough to have that person come into your space, then you win the lottery. Mary Kay wrote that she always saw an invisible sign on everyone that says, I want to feel important. And we tried to train that mentality and teach that of like servant leadership and see that necklace on that person. You never know where someone's walking in. Meet them where they're at, whether they want to hear you talk or they don't want to hear you talk in the treatment room. How's that pressure? Is it more or less? The touch of the person, making sure your hands are warm before you put your hand on my body. If you're going to leave my body, you better be coming back with something magnificent. These little tiny touch points that cost nothing, but we felt it was critical to teach at that type of granular level. And that really made me proud of what we produced. And I think that's what helped us get our springboard into the hotel industry world, because we spoke that language, but we could deliver on a heart language to the guest, that they felt similar when they went to their day spa, that they loved that esthetician who would bring them their daughter special cookies because they knew their daughter was gluten-free. I mean, whatever it is, those little touch points that literally cost nothing are what I believe keep a business in business. I think encouraging your team to do that is critical. And I think we did that well.
I think that's so differentiating in day spa, because a lot of entrepreneurs that are coming up, they don't ever get told that. They don't ever get shown the importance of that. And that's something that when you go into a Ritz or a Four Seasons, that is like chief on their mind.
Oh, it's
how to
forefront.
architect that.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a day spa, you really have the opportunity to set your business apart if you can make them feel like that celebrity.
100%. If you can dig in, get into that heart. Because look, the products have to work. If you're doing a facial, if you're performing facials, the products have to work. If they don't, that's a problem.
Table stakes.
Yeah, that's back to basics, right? But what is the environment like? The physical, the energetic environment. What does it smell like? What's the type of music that you're playing? What do people feel? For me, it was about how do we touch on every sense? There's so many things that tie into those small decisions that have impact that are subliminal. And if you're going to have mints, are they your branded? Are they not? Is your spa one that's like, it doesn't matter, they're just going to be little Hershey Kisses? Great. Or are they Spa Theology little nuggets that have the emblem on it? It's those kind of things, I think, that speak volumes with simple touches. We used to do a double-handed handshake. Very important. Every guest that had a treatment got a heated neck roll after every service. Non-negotiable. It was just, this is part of the brand standards.
It's about a bespoke experience for that person.
All day long, every day. It's like, truly, how do we take a 5-diamond experience and bring it into an urban day spa? Things like just asking the guests their goals. What do they want to achieve out of this? That sounds so rudimentary. It should be a no-brainer and no duh, but I can't tell you how many spas I've secret shopped that don't do that. Now it's just on a piece of paper, or actually not even that. Now it's not a physical paper, it's digital. So I'm just signing my name. I'm not reading anything. No one's really talking to me about what I did say. If I did say it, I had rosacea, or if I did comment that I was dealing with some stress. There's a way to talk to somebody to find out what's going on. And again, like you said earlier, it costs nothing to do some of these things, but it's memorable because it's subliminal. And every guest would obviously be recommended retail. It was part of the rules. It was part of our procedures and protocols that every guest needed to be offered home care, because without it, they're going to go to CVS or wherever and buy something that may not be as good for them. But we know what we used on you. And if you want to take that home with you, we have it up front for you. Just the level of experience and guest satisfaction would go through the roof with that. And it's simple, suggestive things. But that's just stuff with training. And some massage therapists are the hardest to get to buy into the idea that people want to take something home.
So massage therapists retailing, I know that's such a hard thing because they feel slimy doing it. So how did you solve that?
But that always was a challenge for us, especially because Alana was a massage therapist. So she could speak to him through that lens, and I could speak to him as a guest. And we would just talk to our team about, you've done such an incredible job in the treatment room, right? Pre and post. You've spoken to them. You understand their needs. You've delivered a seamless, incredible experience where they feel lighter. They've achieved the goals that they've set out for this experience. And then when you go to take them back, you put the heated neck roll on them. They're in the waiting area or they're spa lounging for a little bit, and then they go to the front. We would tell them as you've listened to them, you've used a certain oil on them. If they made a comment about the oil, you used a heated neck roll. If you used a muscle therapy lotion, if you used a body butter because they wanted this, they did a hydrating mask. They did all these things that you've touched them with, and they all happen to be product that you happen to sell up front. Tie the bow. I used to say, you haven't finished just yet. You're an incredible professional. You have to finish the experience by tying the bow. And that's at the front. You just let the guests know, by the way, I've left with so-and-so up front a little basket of some of the things I used on you today. One of them was the muscle therapy lotion. It's what I used, and you said you really liked that. It helped loosen up some of those tight, tense muscles in the hamstrings or the lower back. So I just put a few of those things up front, and I hope you get to experience them at home. That's it. It's not on the therapist to make that guest buy anything. The guest is going to do it if they want to or not. But you don't really own the right to keep me from that experience.
Yeah, it's almost rude.
We used to say, look, you're almost closing their wallet. Like, you don't get to close my wallet. You want me to take this home because I'm going to remember this. I'm going to smell something and it's going to take me right back there. And then subliminally, I may book with you again. Or I may go, gosh, you know what? I haven't been to the spa in a couple months. I am due for one. There is something since memory, and that's what you're triggering. But I think authentically, you're also going, I want you to keep on enjoying this at home. You need to take time for yourself. Take that bubble bath. Use that bath salt. Use that product on your face that makes you feel your best. Like all those things, because I'm going to buy it on Amazon or I'm going to go to the store and get something anyways. So why not have you be the professional in the room guiding me into my true experience? That's how we would position it, because that's just the truth. There's something about authenticity. I know that sounds ridiculous to say that there's something about authenticity that's very special, but there is. I feel like it's a dying breed. And then the spa director or spa manager's job is to hold the team accountable to selling a certain amount of retail so that we're not snuffing out that guest experience. It could have been a 5, but it was a 4. Why? Because you didn't tie the bow. You didn't go the extra mile because you were a little uncomfortable. And sometimes I would see light bulbs go off when I would be training. our teams with that. They would have those moments of like, oh, I guess I'm not really selling anything. No, you're educating your guest. That's it. You're just educating. Educate them, move on.
You're helping them make a decision.
Yeah.
And you don't care what decision they make.
Nope. As long as it's something that's healthy for them, just make sure you have it in the system. That's where training comes in, front desk responsibilities, making sure that that team is gelled and synergistic. But that's when leadership really steps in.
So if you're listening to this and a light bulb goes off and you're like, okay, I see how really focusing on that experience can be what sets my business apart, but you don't know where to start. Where's the lowest hanging fruit?
It's important that every guest or client that walks in your door feels your heart. They know that you are there for them. Read the room. If they're just like, I just want to be touched, I want to feel beautiful, or I just really want to feel like myself for an hour and I don't want to utter a word, right? It takes me the first 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, there's a moment when I decompress. And that's when a therapist's professionalism steps in the room. You can see it. They feel your energy and they know this person is needing to be taken care of. There's something so special about that skill, and not every therapist is going to have that. Mm-hmm. Some people do it for the money. Some people do it because it's convenient for their lifestyle, or they have kids at home, but maybe their heart isn't as in tune with it as it should be. I believe that the heart will separate those that succeed and those that may just end up doing this just to do it a space.
How do you hire for that?
Not easily, because it takes time. Some people have been that right fit and some haven't, but you can ask certain questions when you're interviewing. It all boils down truly to their touch. And if you're intuitive and if you're an empath too, when someone is working on you and their touch, it's hard to explain, John. There's an energy in their hands. It connects to their heart. It's an energetic thing that's hard to pinpoint.
Where they're feeling the need of the client as opposed to just like programmatically.
Yeah. When I used to secret shop a lot of hotel spas, I could tell when someone was doing the steps. I would even talk about this in training. Like, a guest can feel when you're doing the laundry in your head, or when you are calculating the groceries that you're going to go get after you close at 5. There's just a vacancy in the heart of that moment. But I also had the opposite when I had people that were so in tune where it would get emotional. I remember getting a facial once and I started to cry, and I was like, what's going on? And she was like, oh, you're having an emotional release. And I was like, what's this about? And she was like, I have guests do that a lot. You've either been gifted with touch and you know how to ignite something in someone. I say mine isn't about touch. Mine is gift of passion and voice. Mm-hmm. And I think certain people were gifted with their hands. And I think when they're connected to the heart and they really care about it, I think those businesses stay and they succeed. And I do believe that it is more impactful and powerful for the person that's not only receiving, but the person giving as well.
Mm-hmm. It's satisfying.
Satisfying, and it makes sense. You have to hone in on what makes you special. If you don't know what makes you special, then you might have to do a little sit back and watch, talk to people, survey people. They're coming to your business for a reason. When you're an owner operator or a solopreneur or even an entrepreneur who has a day spa and you're in that business every day, you're touching those guests every day, whether you're physically doing it or you're in the back making sure payroll's going out. You have an opportunity to see and touch those guests every day. How are you doing it today? And I think that's the question to keep coming back to. How did I do it this week? How did I do it today? And if you're like, oh, I didn't do it at all, now you know you got a little work to do.
Yep. If you're removed from that, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you can grow. Like you said, we went from a couple spas to how did we grow? Well, we had to get the right team, because without the right team, we would fall flat on our face, or it would have taken us 40 years to get there. Mm-hmm. But the right people helped us move rocks out of the way. Mm. Because of those people, we were able to succeed in business. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to.
Yep. If you get smart people rowing in the same direction, you can move mountains.
Absolutely.
So how has Universal been involved in your journey?
Universal Companies was the first call I made when I was going to open a spa and I didn't know what I was doing. You all gave me the name of a spa consultant, and I called her and I spent like $5,000, which I was like, I don't know if I can afford that. It's a lot of money. It was incredible because she was referred to and she utilized Universal for helping outfit the spa. And she guided me on best practices. And this is before I met Alana. So she had helped me put together the package of the massage tables. We did a Vichy shower. We used the Cascade, which was incredible at the time. By the way, we still have those 20 years. We have the same tables in every treatment room.
Wow.
We have had to replace a little wire here, a little trinket here, and we got them through Universal. So she turned me on to the first spa elements of the behind the scenes, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And Universal was the first vendor that I ever used and trusted. And then I met Alana, and it was crazy because Universal guided me to feel confident enough. Because if I hadn't met Alana, I would have opened the spa. Don't know how successful it would have been, but Universal continues to be where I recommend when I consult any spa, whether it's a hotel spa or a day spa or even a salon. Universal is the number one go-to for me, hands down, and always has been, and will continue to be until I decide to hang this hat.
Oh,
yeah,
that's sweet. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's well deserved. And you have some incredible people that still remain in the company. I've always said this, if someone can have a company and have people 15, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, when you have people surpassing some of the leadership and they've been there that long, that is a difficult task, first of all, because it means that even through different changes of leadership and ownership and whatever you've been through in the private equity and the not, it speaks volumes of the character of the leaders that are in place, and it speaks volumes of the culture that you've created from day one. And that is something that, honestly, I think Universal should really, really be proud of, especially your mom and yourself now, because you're helping create a legacy within people. There's a trust factor there, and you guys have always delivered. If you didn't, we wouldn't have stayed. So kudos.
Well, it's the team that day in and day out is making it their mission to help grow and to make sure they get what they need to operate.
Absolutely. Because there's other players. Yes, you can go get other stuff. You can go on Amazon. You can do all these things now. Isn't that the same as what we're talking about with spas? I could go to other places that may be less expensive, may not deliver the quality of what I want and that interpersonal relationship, but it's a massage, it's a massage. But do I want a massage or do I want a massage?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's something about it, and I'm proud to talk about it and proud to utilize you all, and so is my team.
Well, we're proud to be a small part of what you have built.
Yeah, a big part, actually, because you guys helped me get it started.
Maybe if we could talk a little bit about some of the successes that you've had and what you've learned from them over your journey. What's the biggest home run that you feel like you've hit over your career?
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking about this, like successes, like how do you measure them? Is it a monetary success? Maybe. Is it an emotional success? Is it deeper than that? Honestly, I have to say the success is that we built something and maintained a partnership. We viewed our partnership like a marriage. I think that's our biggest success story, because it wasn't about money. You needed that to survive. You need that to function. But it was that I found my counterpart that matched my energy. And I do believe if you do something you love, you don't work a day in your life. But there was just something about that. We built something that lasted throughout time, employed a lot of people. And those people still to this day are still in this industry and still thriving. And I feel like at a small, very microscopic level, I had something to do with their story. That's the success.
Human impact.
100%. And that to me is everything. It's worth all the tears and the pain sometimes, but also the joy. But yeah, I think the partnership was our biggest success story. It led to 3 years and a month ago, we're approached by our main competitor to acquire what we had built. We were acquired in September of 2022.
Wow.
And what's crazy about that is I was dropping my daughter off to Savannah College of Art and Design. And this just goes to show you how much the business always circumvented moments of her life and mine. But dropping her off at college, the paperwork comes in to sign over our companies and be acquired that night. And I remember just bawling at saying goodbye to my daughter, and I'm being interrupted on my phone, pinging, having to sign these documents. And I'm like, even at the final hour of signing over my companies, it's circumventing this beautiful moment with my daughter. And I was like, I'll be damned. So I was like, I will sign that later, and I will spend time with her right now. And it was the first time I actually went, no, hold on. Let me do this, get through this, have my moment. All of this was happening all at once, and it was overwhelming to me.
I mean, you're having a literal part of your flesh that you're
Literally part of my
separating
flesh
from, and then you're
and my other baby.
yes.
I never could have a second child, so that was my other baby, was my business and my business partner. And we didn't know what we were stepping into. I just knew that we were in a position that we were fortunate enough that someone saw us as successful enough to acquire. Most businesses, that's their dream.
Mm-hmm.
Build it, scale it, sell it. And we were build it, scale it. Do we sell it? Build it, scale it. Who would buy it? Do we want them to? Are we part of it? All those questions. And it was build it, scale it, be acquired, be part of that team for as long as they'll have us. And then what's next? And that's what happened. We were acquired, and I get the big title, and then it was over. And so as of this past year, it was my last day at the company that acquired us. And it was bittersweet because it was saying goodbye to people that I had been with for 15 years in my own company, some 17 years. And leaving them was the hardest thing I ever had to do. To have to leave the people was the gut wrencher for me. It took some time. I'm in what we call the reinvention stage. I'm launching a podcast, funny enough, called Reinventing Rumbly, my maiden name, because Reinventing Stratton sounded stupid. And people knew me in the music business as Rumbly. So Reinventing Rumbly. And I have a famous comedian friend, Bert Kreischer, and I go on his wife's podcast a lot. And he said to me a long time ago, Rumbly, you should be doing a podcast. Like, you should be speaking, use your voice. And it really was after my last day with this company and saying goodbye to my companies and kissing them lovingly goodbye. I was really like, who am I now? If I don't have these employees to guide and lead and feel like I'm part of a team, and I'm not opening spas anymore, and I'm not contributing to the greater good, what? Now I own 3 spas still. I have Raven Spas in California, which is an authentic Thai experience that are off the charts. It feels like you just stepped into Bali, had a baby with Marrakesh. Like, it's just incredible. And then we have this urban oasis that was the beginning of it all, Spa Theology, which I kept and have as mine. So now it's like, what's next? I've got about 20 episodes recorded, and we're going to launch it probably in mid-November. And Alana and I, we've reconvened together because we were untethered as soon as we were acquired. So we've reconvened, and we're saying, what did we not have when we were coming up? And it was, we didn't really have any peers. We didn't have a lot of mentors. We didn't have consultants that we could go to that had been there, done that could have guided us. And so we're starting to work on a beta called the CAB Clubs, which is the Curated Advisory Board, and different tiers of groups, because we needed that. I needed to be able to go and talk with a spa owner who had done that and could say, here's my advice, here's a thought. And so for someone to be able to talk to a mentor in a small vetted group that's all in the same boat, you kind of need to find your niche. And we've gotten some great feedback of people needing and wanting that. So that's exciting. So it's just, how do we give back?
You learn in the hard way so they don't have to.
That's right. Alana and I used to say, if we could put our head on our pillow every night and hang our hat with integrity and say, I did the best I could with the skills I have today, and tomorrow's a new day, and I'll continue to try to do better. That's all you can do. You know what I mean? That's all you can do.
I love it. Well, I think that is a fantastic message to end on.
Yeah.
You know, our customers and the community, and they're going to be very lucky to hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you. I'm just grateful.